Teaspoon of dried rosemary. Did I say that already? I don't even know. Don't we love our Costco chicken? I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, and I have 2 completely different ways that I'm going to be using them today. How does the saying go? Cheese covers all sins. It's like flubber. That's what it reminds me of, flubber. This bag of mystery pizzas. But Sunday, we're thinking all the way to Sunday. I inherited this recipe from my mom. Let's find out together. Okay, it's another week, it's another month, it's almost another year. We got a lot going on in the kitchen tonight and this week. We are gonna be trying out some new recipes. The recipe I am working on right now is not a new recipe, but it's one that we made back in, I think it was October. This is the cross rib roast recipe from food.com. So that was the first time I'd ever made a cross rib roast. I wasn't even sure what to expect out of it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a cheaper version of a prime rib, like more affordable prime rib probably. It was a really good recipe. It turned out really good. I pulled this out of the freezer a couple of days ago, so I need to get it cooked. So today is the day that's happening. So this recipe calls for you to brush the cross rib roast with balsamic vinegar. I have 2 tablespoons here in my cup, so I'm just gonna rub it all over with the balsamic vinegar. And then there is a rub that you put on it, and the rub is, let's see, 2 tablespoons, my oven's ready, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, a teaspoon of dried rosemary. Quentin, will you turn that down a little bit? A teaspoon of dried rosemary, a tablespoon of salt, I can't even right now. These kids and the shows that they watch. A teaspoon of dried rosemary. Did I say that already? I don't even know. A tablespoon of salt. I got this Cornish sea salt from Costco. If you came with me on my Costco haul, I just got this, so trying this out for the first time. I know it's just salt, but I'm excited. And so it's a tablespoon salt, a teaspoon pepper, and then a tablespoon of olive oil. So we're gonna rub that all over, and it'll have a nice salty, crispy outside crust when it's done. Like I said, this is a very similar recipe to the one that I use on our prime ribs when I cook them, and the meat is very good. So I've got my rub right here. It's all ready to go. Just need to get it all on. So working with me here. This seems like a lot of balsamic for this little hunk of meat to soak in. So here we go. All right, I'm just gonna do this part with my hands. After I get this in the oven, I'm gonna help my husband. He's already working over on the other side of the kitchen, working on making a keto recipe that we're gonna try out. So he wants to try out some keto things. So we got that going. We'll have lots of options, and then this is like a broken record. You're probably sick of me saying this, but Tuesdays are always really busy. So I try not to have too much cooking on my plate for Tuesday nights. So we're cooking both of these dishes tonight, and they will both carry over to tomorrow night. And then dinner will be taken care of, and everybody will be happy, and mom won't be rushed. Most importantly. Okay, so I think this is as good as it's getting. I'm just gonna lay it on the rack in my roasting pan and stick it in the oven. You put it in the oven at 450 degrees for 15 minutes, and then you reduce the heat down to 350 and cook it for another 40 to 60 minutes until it reaches temp. So I'm gonna wash my hands and get that in the oven, and I'll show you what we're working on next. Also, to go with the cross rib roast, I have veggies still left over from Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna cook some of those up and we'll serve that with that. I also have some potatoes I might get out. You might just have some sourdough. I got some sourdough behind me. I'll throw something together. I've got an hour to figure that out. I've got plenty of time. Okay, keto recipe. Don't we love our Costco chicken? Can we talk about the Costco chicken for a minute? I am so excited. I am so excited for this recipe because it's so easy. So this is Keto Chicken Bacon Ranch Taquitos from farmlifediy.com. My husband found this one. So this only makes 2 servings. So, you know, there's that. But it calls for 6 slices of mozzarella cheese. If you guys came grocery shopping with me, you're probably gonna recognize all these things that I just bought. So mozzarella cheese, you're gonna bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for like 5 to 7 minutes. Now this recipe says specifically in the notes, it says, you will need a silicone baking mat to make sure the cheese does not stick when you cook it. You do not own a silicone baking mat. Do not. So I put parchment down and I gave it a generous oiling. Let's hope that that works. We shall see. So literally just lay the strips out, leaving space in between, and bake it for a few minutes. And it's basically like a tortilla. Okay? Okay? Okay. So, I mean, they're not gonna be huge by any means. So we got 1, 2, this calls for 6. And then all I have to do, as long as this cheese situation works out, all I have to do is shred up 1.5 cups of chicken. My husband got the bacon out and defrosted it, and he's cooking up 2 to 3 slices of bacon, and then a tablespoon of ranch dressing. And you mix the chicken, the bacon, and the ranch together. You plop it on a cheese tortilla, roll it up, and eat it. So, I mean, can't get any more basic than that. You don't even need a recipe for this. It also calls for a teaspoon of green onion. That'll be up to him to decide if he puts it in or not. He's not a huge onion person, so that's it. So I'm gonna stick these in the oven. I'm gonna shred these up. Are you cooking up the bacon? Not yet. I'm gonna cook up 2 to 3 slices of bacon, and then I'll show you. I'll show you when it's done. I just pulled the cheese out of the oven. This is what it looks like. We'll see how difficult it is to get off the sheet after we let it cool for a minute. I feel like maybe I should take it off the hot sheet to let it cool. And then it was about 1 chicken breast basically for 1.5 cup of the shredded chicken. He said yes to the green onions, so we put those in. He's cutting up a couple slices of bacon right now. So we'll mix that in, put some ranch in it. The recipe calls for only 1 tablespoon of ranch. I feel like you're gonna want more than that. And this is only 1 carb for 2 tablespoons of ranch, so that seems pretty good to me. Anyways, we're just gonna mix this up, and then once these are cool enough to touch, just spoon some on, eat and go, and we'll find out how good they are. Okay, let's see how, well, you wanna make sure it comes off okay first?
No.
Oh yeah. A little oil on some parchment, you're good. Eagerly anticipating the taste test. Living vicariously through you right now and all your dairy eating.
Yeah.
How is it?
Tastes good.
Scale of 1 to 10?
Should I use either better ranch or more ranch?
Better ranch?
Or more ranch.
You can put more ranch on it. This is not many carbs at all. Like, put a little drizzle on top of each one. More ranch, but good flavor. 1 to 10?
6.
Okay. Needs improvement. Besides the ranch, what else would you add? or
I mean,
change.
it's a chicken bacon ranch. You don't add much of anything.
Easy keto meal that has acceptable flavor. There you go. Okay, we packaged up the rest of them and we're gonna stick them in the fridge. We figured that the cheese is gonna harden if it gets cold, so we pre-wrapped them, and we'll see how they hold up overnight in the fridge. But also, we were brainstorming, and I was like, we could totally make this recipe so that I can eat it and the kids could eat it, and the kids would probably really like it, if we just used my vegan ranch in the chicken mixture, and then I could put my filling on like a lettuce, make it into like a lettuce wrap, and like the kids would probably like having it in the cheese. Anyways, it could be an easy family crowd pleaser and easy variations so that we could all eat it. So yay for that. We discovered something easy that we could probably all do pretty okay. Okay, just waiting for the cross rib roast. We're at 103 degrees, needs to get up to 125. It's been in the oven for, I think total a half an hour now. So anyways, we're waiting on that. I got some veggies I'm gonna warm up to go with it, and then we're rocking and rolling for dinner. Okay, it says it's up to temp. That did not take long. That took less than an hour total. So I just need to cover it and let it rest for about 20 minutes. My oven has this fancy dancy probe that you can plug right in inside the oven, so saves my life a lot. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Dinner is served, so I start cutting up the meat. Blah, 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 blah. So I started cutting up the meat. I still got a huge hunk over here. I even pulled out some fruit. Look at me. I got the veggies sauteed with some bacon. And yep, there's bread over here if the kids want to throw a slice of bread with their dinner. Otherwise I'm done. Now we can eat. Okay, Wednesday has come. Tuesday we just snacked on whatever was grab and go in the fridge, and that always just works out fine for Tuesdays. So Wednesday, I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, and I have 2 completely different ways that I'm going to be using them today, okay? We're going 2 completely different directions at the same time, and I'm not going to be eating either of them, but that's okay. So we have a family that we know that the husband just had like major back surgery. He's going to be down for like 6 months, I think the recovery is. So we are bringing them a meal tonight. So I'm going to be on side number 1 here. I'm going to be prepping their meal to take. I also have my cast iron heating up in the oven. So I have a loaf of sourdough ready to go for them. I'm going to be making them shepherd's pie. This is like my go-to meal anytime I bring a meal to a family, as long as there's no food restrictions. This family does not have any. Shepherd pie is like my go-to. It's so easy. It's easy to make and prep. It's easy to reheat. It's everybody loves it. It's a crowd pleaser. I actually don't think I ever had shepherd's pie growing up. I don't recall ever having shepherd's pie. And as an adult, I didn't have it or didn't even hear about it until somebody brought me a meal. I think when my daughter was a baby, they brought me shepherd's pie, and I was like, I've never even heard of this, and it was delicious. And then it became a regular in our household, but we haven't made it in a while now. So there's the whole backstory on shepherd pie. So 1 of the pounds of ground beef, we're going to be doing that over here, and then the other pound of ground beef, we have keto lasagna. So my husband found this recipe. It is from delish.com, and it's full of all of the things. You can probably see some of them along the side here. So I'm gonna prep and make that as well. I'm gonna focus on getting the shepherd's pie done first because I'd like to have that ready in about an hour to head out the door with us to go drop it at their house. The keto lasagna, I don't think he's planning on eating any of it tonight. I'm just prepping it and probably baking it tonight, and it's ready to go, and he can take it for lunches or have it for dinners for the next several days. So that's all that. We still have rotisserie chicken left in the fridge, and we still have some of that roast left in the fridge. So I will eat off of one of those. The kids will eat off of, I don't know, they might want to try the keto lasagna. They might eat the chicken. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, I'm not worried about that right now. I know we have plenty of food to eat. It's just a matter of who's eating what. So I've got 4 of these big baker potatoes left that were in my cupboard. I believe I bought the big bag at the beginning of November, so it's been over a month since I bought them. And with my husband doing keto, we're probably not going to be doing a lot of potatoes, so I was like, perfect, we'll use up the last of these. So I just have to skin them and cube them, and I have water boiling just outside the screen here. You can't see that the pot is ready to go. So I'm going to get these boiling for the mashed potatoes that go on top. There we go. So if you've never heard of shepherd's pie, I'm assuming you have. It's a pretty common thing, but it's basically like a ground beef and veggie like mix underneath, and then it's mashed potatoes like covering the top. So it's a solid hearty meal, and like I said, you can't go wrong. I think actually traditional shepherd's pie is made with lamb, but I always just make it with ground beef. There you go. So let me get these potatoes going, and I'll show you what's happening next. Hold on, I gotta open the window. I'm sweating. Okay, let me catch you up. Sorry, we had some family stop by and visit while I was making up the shepherd's pie, so let me just fill you in on the details here, where we're at. I forgot to put garlic in it, so I'm just adding some garlic powder, but it is all finished in the pan here. So I cooked down a pound of ground beef, and then I added a little bit of flour to the pan to thicken it, added about a cup of broth and a couple tablespoons of ketchup, and then 4 cups of frozen veggies. I just had like a couple of different bags of mixed veggies left over in my freezer, so grabbed what was in those. There was one of corn, one of peas, one that was like mixed veggies with green beans and carrots and anything goes. So we got that, we got salt and pepper, all the good stuff. My mashed potatoes is all cooked down. I added there was probably like a cup of sour cream left in this container, so just scooped it all in, threw that in there. I'm basically just using every little bit of leftovers that I have left, so use the last of this. I had a small hunk of cheddar left. I just shredded the whole thing down, and I put about half of it in, and I'll sprinkle the other half on top, along with salt and pepper. Let's do salt and pepper in here as well. And then I have this handy dandy foil container that I had to go out and buy today because I forgot to get one on my grocery trip. And I'm gonna put it all in there. I do have my sourdough in the oven cooking. It's probably got another 15 minutes left, and then that'll be done. So I'm just gonna set this all off to the side. And this does, the recipe does tell you to bake it in the oven after you've assembled it in your pan. I'm not gonna bake it, I'm just gonna write on it, stick it in the oven, 350 I think it is, for 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, 375 for 20 to 25 minutes. So they can do that if they want to. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. So let me get that in the pan, and then we'll start on the keto lasagna. It's about 4:30, so we're doing okay on time. Whew, I am sweating.
Me too.
We got a nice hot fire going in our living room, and then I got the hot oven going, so I got heat coming from both sides of me. All right, beautiful. So that fills the bottom perfectly. This recipe does call for it to be put, I believe, in a 9 by, I don't know, what did it say? I guess it doesn't say on there. I think I usually put it in a 9 by 13, right? That's the size. This is not the same size. I think it's a little shorter and squatter, but I think it holds about the same amount. Not that it matters. Not that you care. Just saying. Okay. Mashed potatoes on top. Hopefully that 4 mashed potatoes will cover this pretty well. Okay. My arm. Ooh, this is looking delicious. And if I could eat all of the things in this, I would taste test it. These mashed potatoes look so good. I'll barely cover this. Yeah. Perfect. Just trying to make it look nice. Just trying to make it look nice. And then sprinkle cheese on top. Cheese fixes everything. How does the saying go? Cheese covers all sins. Something like that. And then we are on to keto lasagna next. So let me get the lid on this, keep it nice and warm. Move this off to the side, and we'll move on with our lives. Okay, on to the keto lasagna, and it's gonna take a little longer than I anticipated. I didn't really look very closely at the directions, but that's okay. So, we have got preheated oven to 350 degrees. I'm just gonna use the oven that's cooking the sourdough right now, because it's got just a few minutes left. Line a large baking sheet with parchment paper and grease it. And then in a microwave safe bowl, melt the cream cheese. So I got a 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Check. I believe I'm making the noodles right now. This is for the noodles. Okay, 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Hold myself. 2 cups of shredded mozzarella. That's why we bought this giant bag. Now we remember. What? Oh my Lanta. Struggling already. Probably not a big deal that I got it on the pan. But let's pretend we didn't. Okay, 2 cups of shredded mozzarella. 1. So we put the cream cheese, the mozzarella, and the Parmesan together, and we're melting it in the microwave. So 2 cups of mozzarella, a 1/2 cup Parmesan. All right. That's basically everything that's left in here. Used that up. Check. All right, I'm gonna stick this in the microwave, and then we're gonna add 3 large eggs to it after it is all melted down. It's gonna be a little shy on Parmesan. I didn't realize I needed another 1/2 cup. So, but everything else is good. We good? We're gonna be shy on Parmesan. Okay, I microwaved it for 2 minutes. So it's, do you want to pull the bread out of the oven? Thank you. So it's very well melted together. So, add the eggs and mix until incorporated, season with salt and pepper. So we got 3 eggs. We can do this. I believe in us. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. 3 eggs.
Does this need to be preheated?
It needs to be at 350, please. And then salt and pepper. Okay, gonna mix till incorporated, and then spread onto the baking sheet and bake until golden brown. 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're gonna let it cool. This is not, I don't know how this is gonna incorporate, but I'm not sure how that's supposed to happen. Let me show you when I'm done getting these noodles. This might take a minute. All right, I resorted to just mixing it with my hands. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like flubber. That's what it reminds me of, flubber. Okay, so we just spread it out on this tray. Okay, we're gonna trust the process. Spread it out on the tray. And bake until golden brown. So let's try and spread it pretty good, because I believe we're gonna cut it into noodles, like noodle shapes, lasagna noodle shapes of some kind. So trying new things is fun. Just keep saying that. Trying new things is fun. Okay. This is not looking so bad. Not so bad at all. Oh gosh, my phone is going wild. Okay, I've got it spread pretty well on the tray. Sticking this in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. While we got that cooking, we're gonna start in the skillet. We're going to saute onions, garlic, and then add tomato paste, add the ground beef, add salt and pepper, cook that all up into goodness, add some seasoning to it, yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. I'm trying to remember if I've ever made lasagna of any kind, let alone keto. Definitely never made a keto lasagna. Once upon a time, when we were first married, I made like an artichoke lasagna? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Definitely has not been something that's been in my repertoire of recipes. Not my experience. So I guess you could say no experience needed for this recipe, because I definitely don't have any. Italian cooking, Italian type of recipes is not my go-to, like in any shape and form. Never has been. Nothing wrong with Italian food. It's amazing. Italian food is good. Just not what I usually cook. So I'm gonna add a little oil to my pan. This is the same pan I just used for the shepherd's pie. I cleaned it out real quick, and we're gonna do round 2. So I've got half of an onion cut up here. We'll let that go. I know it can get loud on the video when stuff is sizzling in the pan, so I'll see you in a minute. Lots of garlic. Okay, ground beef is going in. Maybe, if I can get it out. That's rosemary. Yep. All right, we've got this pretty well cooked down. And forgot to add the tomato paste, so I'm gonna do that. So let's see how much. Tablespoon tomato paste. I always just get the tubes, because I feel like every recipe I do never every recipe I do, you never actually need like a whole little can of tomato paste, and then you end up throwing it away. So I always buy it in the tube. There's your life hack. And then I can just squeeze out as much as I need and throw the rest in the fridge and save it for another time. And then I'm gonna add salt and pepper. And then I believe we're gonna add marinara to it. I'm loving this salt tub, this tub of salt. It's actually very convenient for just like grabbing and sprinkling. I'm gonna add, let's see. This is oregano from my garden that was dried. I hang it in my window and dry it. So we're gonna add this in. Yeah, I'm gonna add it before I add the marinara. Just so it can saute with the meat for a second here and have even more flavor. I feel like when my herbs get to saute in the pan, it makes them more flavorful. I don't know, is it just me? And crushed red pepper flakes. Add a little bit of that. I am by no means a skilled chef, but I know what works for me. It just says a pinch of red pepper flakes, so do as you please. Marinara, 3/4 cup. I'm just gonna use this 1 cup measure and eyeball it. I know you're not supposed to do this for liquid, but whatever. Whatever, it works for me. Okay. So, this is looking like lasagna filling. Very much. So I got about a minute left on the noodles, and then I'm gonna check them, pull them out if they're done, and then I believe we get to assemble it. Okay, I called in reinforcements. My husband's gonna help me assemble it. I'm gonna pull the noodles out of the oven. I'm gonna see what they look like. And then I think we've got everything ready to put it together. Okay, that's looking like a solid sheet of something. So it says, cut the noodles in half lengthwise, and then cut each half into 3 pieces. So we're basically just cutting it into squares. Spoon a small amount of sauce into an 8-inch baking dish and place 2 noodles at the bottom of the dish. So does this mean sauce as in this sauce? Or are we also using? So we're gonna put that on the bottom. Okay. So put a little bit of that on, put some noodles on, spread some ricotta, and then more meat, and sprinkle with mozzarella. Okay, we can figure this out. Let's figure out how to cut this. I guess probably with the pizza cutter. We've got an 8-inch pan. I'm gonna grease it for good measure. Sorry, it's in with the knives. We work so good together.
How you want?
Yeah, so I would say cut it down the middle and then cut each half into 3 pieces. So boop, boop. Because it has to fit, yeah.
Into 3 or so 2 cuts then?
Yeah, 2 cuts is what makes sense to me. So that looks like it'll fit okay in there. Okay, I'm greasing the pan. You do as you please. So, a little bit of sauce. Just like enough to cover the bottom. Can you guys even see the dish?
I'm gonna make a mess.
That's okay. I would say do it very sparingly. Like just, I do know that about lasagna. You run out of ingredients if you go too heavy. Okay, and then, yes, so spoon a small amount of sauce into the pan. Place 2 noodles in the bottom. I feel like these would have been better if they were like, should we cut them longer? Because it's not gonna fit in that shape very well. No. Like that and like that.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, and then spread a third of the ricotta, so this is way more than 16 ounces, so we're not using all of this. Garlic on it. So spoon, basically like, yeah. I feel like it's gonna be hard to spread. No? This is fun. I have no idea what I'm doing. It does look good though, like the noodly business that's going on here. Looks noodly, right?
Sure.
I feel like I'm the wrong one to be doing this job. Is this riveting? Is this riveting yet? Watching us struggle through. I feel like you could like double the meat in this recipe.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna have to reinvent it our own way. Okay, and then I believe mozzarella is next. Mozzarella.
Okay.
Ricotta. Okay, yeah. Ricotta over the noodles. Meat. Mozzarella. Repeat. So then this.
Yep.
That. Ricotta. You got ricotta over there. We're getting there. We're doing it. This better taste good. That's all I gotta say. I mean, you can't go wrong when it's basically all cheese and meat and tomato sauce. Like that's a winning combination. It is gonna fill it to the brim also. This little 8-inch dish is gonna work hard.
Should have used like a 9x13 or something.
You do not need a 9x13 lasagna for yourself. The kids actually might like this. I guess we'll see. But I do feel like you could double the meat, like easily. I mean, it's a keto recipe and meat is 0 carbs, right?
This whole thing is 10 grams. That's what I know.
The whole thing or per serving?
Serving.
Oh, okay. Fake news. Okay. Last layer. Here we come. So ricotta, meat, and then you put as much cheese as you want on top. Okay, look at that beaut. We're gonna stick it in the oven when we get back. So we gotta run the dinner to a friend, and then we will finish that off. So here is the fresh bread that we got. Isn't that beautiful? Here is the shepherd's pie. I kept the lid on it so it's staying warm. Yeah, we'll cook this. What does it say? Bake until the cheese is melty and sauce is bubbly, 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, I'm assuming, at 350. We'll do that later. Otherwise, we're done in the kitchen for tonight. We just have to deal with all of this. Okay, the lasagna is cooking in the oven. It's got about a half an hour, and then we'll pull it out and I'll show you what it's looking like. I got kid plates going out right now. They got to pick their own dinners tonight because we had options, so let me show you what's going out. And I got mine warming up right now. Kid plate number 1. Chicken, some leftover chicken still from that Costco chicken we got. We got a couple slices of sourdough left, and she wanted a carrot. So we got that. And then my son wanted some of the roast that was left over. He wanted some bell peppers, and we got bread. So there we go, custom orders coming on. All right, and then Mama's plate. I cut up whatever was left of the roast and microwave that. I know that doesn't look super appetizing. And then sauteed up a couple of veggies from the fridge And my dinner is done, so we're gonna enjoy ourselves. Oh my gosh. You're practically bubbling over. Very, very carefully. This thing looks incredible. If I could eat it, I would. Looks so good. Look at that. Look at that. It turned out so good. Turned out so good. And the kitchen's closed up for the night. It's what, just almost 6:40, and let the record show that my husband did the dishes. The dishes are all done. So all that cooking I did, he helped with the dishes, so we're winning. We're done for tonight. On to tomorrow. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday and I ain't cooking. We did a lot of cooking yesterday. So I raided the freezer last night before I went to bed, and I had some of this paleo chili left. There's probably about 2 servings worth in here. So I pulled that out of the freezer last night, and I was telling my kids I found this, and my son said, yes, that sounds good for dinner today. My daughter said no. So I was like, that's okay. There's only 2 servings. Me and my son can eat it. And then I found this bag of mystery pizza slices. This, I believe, is from, it says Great Wolf Lodge Pizza. So we went to Great Wolf Lodge in August, and we went for like a birthday deal package, you know, and one of the things that it comes with is a pizza, and we didn't eat it all while we were there, so we brought it home and I threw it in the freezer, and there it has sat. So I'm gonna warm a couple of these pieces up for my daughter. She will be happy about that. My husband had the lasagna. I think he had it for lunch today, and he said it was really good. So the keto lasagna was a hit. That's a thumbs up. But I am thinking about future cooking already, of course. I do have a loaf of sourdough that I started this morning, that I need to get into the proofing bowl. Is that what it's called? Proofing bowl, whatever, the other bowl. I gotta shape it and put it in there because we are completely out of bread of any kind in the house right now. I know that's hard to believe because I feel like I've cooked so many loaves of bread recently, but they're all eaten. They're all gone. So the kids have still been eating bread. Obviously, my husband's not eating bread. I'm eating very limited amounts of bread, but kids still eat it every day with multiple meals usually. So I'll get that into the proofing bowl, into the fridge for the night, and then I'll probably bake it up first thing tomorrow morning. And not all of our weekend is busy. Friday, me and my husband are gonna go out for the night and have like a date night. So we probably won't be cooking in at all tomorrow night. But Saturday, we should be home all day. I still don't know exactly what my meal plan is. Probably looking like steak or something like that from the freezer. But Sunday, we're thinking all the way to Sunday. We have a busy sports event day, and I don't know exactly what time we'll be home, but it'll probably be late afternoon. And I'd like to have something ready to go when we get home. So I pulled out this beef flanken rib recipe from my stash. This is from Bon Appetit. That's not spelled like Bon Appetit. Bon Appetit. Bonappetit.com. Beef flanken rib recipe. This is really good. We've had this several times, and it calls for the like really skinny cut short ribs. We have those in our freezer right now. So I'm just thinking like I'll pull those out and I'll get them in this marinade probably tomorrow, and they can just sit in the fridge for the weekend, and then Sunday when we get home they cook up super fast. You gotta pan fry them for just a little bit on each side, and then they're ready to go. So that's some easy protein to get in our bellies. So, and then we'll have bread available for the kids. I can easily get some veggies thrown together. So yeah, just trying to think about the busy days that are coming ahead. The not busy days I'm not worried about. We'll pull something together. So anyways, no cooking tonight, but thinking about cooking tomorrow. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I did almost absolutely nothing in the kitchen yesterday. I did cook a loaf of sourdough, but otherwise there was no cooking that really happened. My husband and I went on a date last night. The kids spent the night at a friend's house. I think we had leftovers for lunch. So yeah, not much happened in the kitchen yesterday. I didn't even do dishes. I loaded up the dishwasher this morning and did it because I was like, okay, I got to do something. I got to pull things back together here. But we got fun things, exciting things today. Okay, we are gonna do, oven's ready. We are gonna do a prime rib. Now this recipe that I got, it's from foodnetwork.com. I inherited this recipe from my mom forever ago, and I think this is the recipe she's been using forever. We like prime rib in my family. So my side of the family, prime rib is a big deal. So this one calls for a 6-pound prime rib. I have like a 2 1/4 pound. I have a very small one. It's just a little family size prime rib. So it's probably gonna cook a lot faster. And I also made like half of the little spread that you put on the outside because yeah, a whole amount would be way too much. So it calls for, so I'll just tell you what the regular recipe calls for. 5 garlic cloves mashed, a 1/4 cup of grated, fresh, or prepared horseradish. I have used both in the past. This time I'm using a fresh horseradish root because I just happened to be right next to the grocery store this morning actually that I knew carried this because there's not very many that carry it. But you absolutely can use like the prepared horseradish in a jar. That works just fine too. 1/4 cup grated, fresh, or prepared horseradish. Leaves from 2 fresh rosemary sprigs. I used dried. I used dried. Leaves from 4 fresh thyme sprigs. A 1/2 cup of kosher salt. Yes, this is a very salty recipe, like very salty. So if you don't like things too salty, like cut the salt in half. I like it salty on the outside, like the crust. I like it that way. 1/4 cup of ground pepper, and then a 1/2 cup of olive oil. So I've got everything already mixed up here in this jar. Yeah, I'm gonna use this salt. I'm such a nerd lately. I'm really excited to use this salt on it. I don't know why. Don't know why I'm excited to use salt. And then I have this dish that I'm going to put it into. So let's just get it covered and in the oven since the oven is ready. It's just about 3 o'clock. I'm guessing this will probably take an hour to cook, like an hour at the most would be my guess. Because it says in this recipe, cook time is 1 hour and 40 minutes. This is much smaller, so I think an hour would probably be fine. My husband has been trying to eat like early dinner and then not eat late in the evening. So we're gonna have early dinner, which I'm not sad about. I'm fine with early dinner. So try and eat like 4:30. And yeah, I'm just kind of rubbing things on here, making the most of it. So then it says to just set it rib side down in your roasting pan, your roasting dish, because the ribs act as like a natural rack, you know, like whatever you want to call it. Anyways, so there's that. It's all massaged in. Put the pan in the oven and roast the beef until the internal temperature is 125. Remove it from the oven and let it rest for 20 minutes and then carve it. So we're gonna get that in the oven. I'll show you what we're eating with it. All right, and then we have these handy dandy thermometers that you can like plug right into the side of, like inside the oven. Just never great at placing them. I usually have my husband place them, but he's not here right now. So I'm just gonna leave it to the novice to do this. I feel like if I just stick it like, that feels like center-ish. Anyways, my husband would prefer it on like the underdone side, and I would prefer it on like the more done side. So we'll find out what this comes of. But anyways, into the oven it goes. All right, and then we're moving on here, moving on rapidly. Oh, what we're gonna have with dinner. I'll do it as soon as I'm done with all the meat I got going on, but I still have broccoli and cauliflower left over from Thanksgiving. So we're gonna roast that up and eat it with it. But first, so tomorrow we have another busy sports tournament day happening. So I'm planning for it. We're trying to eat healthy. We're gonna be home probably late afternoon, and we're gonna want something easy to cook. So I pulled these short ribs, these like thin cut short ribs, out of the freezer, 2 days ago now? And they're like, you know, I think that's what you call them, thin cut short ribs, yeah. We're gonna stick them in some marinade, and they are gonna be ready for us tomorrow when we get home. So we love that. Now, the marinade that I made, okay, so I put the marinade together before I started filming. I had a neighbor boy over, and he was just chatting with me. So I let him chat with me while I made up the marinade. But it's a hodgepodge. So the marinade calls for 1.5 cups soy sauce, a 1/2 cup sherry, like cooking wine sherry, a cup of water, a 1/3 cup brown sugar, 2 tablespoons honey, 4 cloves garlic, and 1 teaspoon fresh ginger. So this recipe, in case you're wondering, bonappetit.com. It's beef flanken ribs. So yeah, that's the marinade you're supposed to use. That's not the marinade I'm using because I didn't have everything I needed. So what I mixed up in this bag here is I had like not quite a 1/2 cup of soy sauce. This is like gluten-free soy sauce. Do you need something? Thank you. All sorts of treasures out there. So I looked up Google. My best friend Google told me that you can substitute fish sauce. So I pulled my fish sauce out of the fridge and I poured that in, and I was like maybe a tablespoon left. And so I was like, okay, I'm still not to where I need to be. And so you could do Worcestershire. So I did, and you gotta water it down. So I did like a little bit of Worcestershire, a little bit of water. Anyways, got myself all the way up to 3/4 cup of like a soy sauce mixture. So that's what we're using in here. I don't know, we'll see how it turns out. I had just enough sherry. Like, I gotta put all of this on my list now, my grocery list. So I should just set it over there. Remember to buy my grocery list for Monday. Okay, so I got that. I got as much sherry as I needed. I put the water in, and then my husband is trying to do low sugar, low carbs, trying to be very careful with what he's eating. So instead of brown sugar, this is just the regular Swerve. I know they have a brown sugar variety. I don't have that on hand. So I use this as sweetener for most of it, and then I just put 1 tablespoon of raw honey in. I felt like 1 tablespoon of honey for this whole serving is gonna be fine, and I'll add some nice flavor. And then I got the garlic and I got the ginger. So we made it through to the marinade portion of the night. So this is only like a half recipe of marinade compared with, you know, full recipe. So I think we're gonna have to lay this pretty flat in a dish. I might even just use this dish. And I don't know, I always stick my meat in a Ziploc bag when I marinate it. You could probably just dump it straight in the dish and cover it, but I'm paranoid that marinade will slosh all over my fridge if my kids knock into it or something. So let's not get raw meat all over everywhere. So there's this ready to go. And then I got a bunch of stuff while this continues to cook in the oven. A bunch of stuff I need to cut up, portion up, freeze. I gotta do some kitchen maintenance happening. So that's what we're working on. That's what we're gonna be working on. Anyways, this is good and sealed. I'm just gonna lay it as flat as I can in the pan. Okay, meet you back here in a minute. Okay, shifting gears now. I got everything cleaned up and wiped down. So I'm just gonna cut up the veggies that I'm going to roast to go with dinner tonight. I've got this much left of a head of cauliflower, and then I've got like a half a head and a whole head of broccoli. This one might be questionable. I'll look through it, but I'm gonna cut this up. I think I'm just gonna wait and stick it into the oven after the prime rib comes out, because the prime rib needs to rest for a while. So I'll just roast the veggies while I am letting that rest. So next on my docket, I've got the leftover carcass from our chicken from Costco. I just need to kind of look through it real quick before I throw it in the freezer, so I'm going to save it to make broth. It's been sitting in our fridge being picked at for lots of days now, so it's time to move on. And then my husband's keto lasagna that we made a couple days ago. He said it's really good, by the way. Can't remember if I told you that. He said it's really good, but it made like, I think 8 servings altogether. And he's just not gonna get through all of them before it goes bad, so I need to freeze some of the servings. So I'll divide it up and get it in the freezer, and he can pull it out next week for another easy keto dinner that I don't have to cook. The best of all worlds. So I'm just gonna, still got a pretty good amount. Just gonna oil it, salt and pepper it, and then we'll do the other stuff on my list. Okay, what's left of the carcass here? I think I'm gonna throw whatever's left right back in here and just throw it, seal it up and throw it in the freezer, because this is pretty well eaten. And I forgot that this thing like zips closed. So I'm just gonna rip off, I don't know, you probably want the skin on it, but I'm gonna rip the skin off. I don't know why. There's not really any rhyme or reason to why I'm doing it. So, but definitely keeping all the bones and good stuff. So this will be yet another meal or meal component from this $5 chicken. So it fed us how many different meals? I lost count. It made the keto taquitos. It made, my daughter ate chicken most of the week. So this is the best $5 I spent all week, I think. That's what I think. Okay. I pulled all the skin off. And that is gonna be that. Okay, this is gonna go in the freezer. Bye-bye. Okay. So, 4 servings. He said he just wanted me to wrap them up and freeze them separately so he can pull them out one at a time. So, I think I'll just wrap them each in foil. Actually, I could probably use this foil. Let's use this foil for at least 2 of them. was definitely a winner. And I haven't had the kids try it, but I bet they would like it if they did try it. They can both have all the dairy. And I think we have leftover ingredients, enough of basically everything, I think, except Parmesan, in order to make this whole dish again. So like the ingredients that I bought at the beginning of the week, they could make this times 2 if I bought more Parmesan. Pretty big bang for your buck. Where's my scissors? I'll just rip it. Just rip it. What else? Any other updates? Life updates? I don't think so. Gonna go grocery shopping on Monday. We are in the process of planning a big like gingerbread house party at our house. So I will be loading up on all the candies next week, which will be very tempting for my husband, who's trying to be good, but the kids will have a good time. So I can't wait to show you what we're getting for that and how they're gonna turn out. I found this genius idea of using cardboard gingerbread house kits and then just decorating them with icing and candy. The kids think it's lame that they're not real cookie houses, but it saves me a lot of work. Because even if you make them with even if you make them with graham crackers, they still fall apart easily and they're hard to put together. Even the little pre-made kits are hard to put together still, so I'm not complaining about an easy option. And one thing I did forget, I don't know if you can see it, my pineapple. It's been sitting in my fridge for over a week. That was one of the pineapples I was supposed to cut up for Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. And it was ripe when I cut the other one up. It was already ripe. And so I just stuck it in the fridge because we weren't gonna eat it in time. Anyway, we're gonna cut it open and see what it looks like. It's very dark on the outside, but it's been sitting in the fridge for a week, so maybe it kept. I don't know. Let's find out together. My prime rib is already already almost up to temp. It's been
I like how it's small.
not an hour. It's happening fast. That's okay. If I can get all my kitchen stuff done while that cooks in the oven, double duty. I'm happy with that. Okay, this is going in the freezer. Almost done. Yeah, look how dark this is. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice. It's very dark. I've never seen one this dark before. So let me get a new cutting board and we'll slice into it and see. Definitely need my scrap bucket just in case. And then a container just in case. Not looking too promising. We might be able to salvage some of it. The real question is taste. How does it taste? Let's find out. Not bad at all. So, life hack. that was an effective way to store a ripe pineapple that we were not going to eat in a timely manner. So you just stick the whole pineapple in the fridge. There'll be some left that you can eat. Doesn't mean you can eat the whole thing still, but perfect timing. My oven is about to go off. That's how much we got. I would say probably half of it was salvaged. Half of the pineapple, if not more. And then I wanted to show you, I just, at the last minute, decided to just throw some of these potatoes, these little tiny, whatever you call them, this little duds. This can be the carb for me and the kids, and my husband will just have meat and veggies. So this is going into the oven in just a second. So here is the prime rib. It's been resting for a while. It looks beautiful. My husband's gonna cut it up now, and then the potatoes and veggies are looking, whew, they're looking pretty done. So we're gonna pull them out and have some dinner. And we're just gonna end the video here because we had an extremely long day at a sports tournament, and I was beat by the time we got home. We were all hungry. I was so tired and overstimulated from being in that noisy gym all day long. So I got home, I got the rice going, I pulled out the ribs, we got them fried up. We fed everybody. We made sure everybody had a full tummy, but I was done. I had no steam left in me. In fact, I cooked dinner, I ate dinner, and then I went and laid down in bed the rest of the evening because I was just so done. It was a good day, it was a good experience, but it's just a lot. Sports are a lot. Can I get an amen? So this is where we left off for the week. We made it through Sunday, and we are getting ready to cook a whole bunch of new, fun, exciting things this next week, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I will leave you to it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week in our keto and family life food vlog. So we will see you next week.